can't miss. Coming off the edge like a quarterback blitz. Cover up your shine, cause I'm an eclipse. In the booth, I'm making plumes out of zips. Rewards gala at the Ritz, that's the fix. Never gave two fucks or four shits about the glitz. All I got's a flamethrower for some lips. I'm efficient like Golden State, you rebuilding like the Knicks. Y'all some pawns with the king. You think it's hard for me? You're staking prawns with my tape, shit's all lovely. If it ain't determination, guess it's all lucky. Haters look sideways, wish they could all slug me. I'm super, more shit than your loofah. I'm getting moolah on a river, cracking a cold cooler. Pulling out a loco, and that's a Uber. Power moving and shaking, I gotta maneuver, I got it. I'ma ride a sick one of this year. 2018, yeah, I'm fucking up this year. You've been waiting a while for this year. Aiming for the top and can't miss, yeah. I'ma ride a sick one of this year. 2018, yeah, I'm fucking up this year. You've been waiting a while for this year. Aiming for the top and can't miss, yeah. Can't miss, I'm a marksman. Swinging on the trees like I'm Tarzan. Coming out the wings, spitting bars in apocalypse. Now for MCs, I'm the horseman. What I'm whipping up, that's a potion. Been conjuring up some different poses. Do you believe in magic? Cause I got that hocus pocus. You mad? You can't throw me off of this focus. A savage beast working on my masterpiece. Opus. What you gon' do when my shit booming? Your shit go bust. No bust, blood rush. I say we go nuts. Roll up, blow gust. My microphone lust. Dropping new viddies. We too litty, bout to run the city. Being 100 like 250s. My new giddy up. Call it a drive. I just live it up, and I've arrived. I'ma ride a sick one of this year. 2018, yeah, fucking up this year. You've been waiting a while for this year. Aiming for the top and can't miss, yeah. I'ma ride a sick one of this year. 2018, yeah, I'm fucking up this year. You've been waiting a while for this year. Aiming for the top and can't miss, yeah. Can't miss. Can't miss. I'ma ride a sick one of this, yeah. Pick the party up, we gon' pick the party up, party up. Shots down, we gon' pick the party up, party up. Another round, we gon' pick the party up, party up. Any party people pick the party up, party up. Party up, we gon' pick the party up, party up. Shots down, we gon' pick the party up, party up. Another round, we gon' pick the party up, party up. Any party people pick the party up, party up. Straight shots down, Don Julio. 1, 2, 3, 4, get your woman on the floor. Gotta get up to get down like Coolio. Patrick Swayze and Ocho Loco, and I'm sipping on a foe. Loco that is, I smoke all there is. I ain't listening, fuck the haters. She said she wanna party, so I know what it is. Summertime living, we don't go where we live. I took a few minutes on my busy schedule to make this fiesta crack just like some eggs, yo. I tell a bad girl to Lego my good drum. I let her party, she wanna party, she said so. Who came in here just to take the edge off? And who's in here to raise their whole fucking heads off? We gon' party hard, yeah, until it gets soft. And pick it up again right where we left off. Let's go. Pick the party up, we gon' pick the party up, party up. Shots down, we gon' pick the party up, party up. Another round, we gon' pick the party up, party up. Any party people pick the party up, party up. Party up, we gon' pick the party up, party up. Shots down, we gon' pick the party up, party up. Another round, we gon' pick the party up, party up. Any party people pick the party up, party up. Tryna ride my wave, boogie boy. When I step up in the spot, you smell that goodie, boy. Get on go. What you being moody for? We out here trying to function, it's unruly so. Party people, ain't nobody on the wagon here. Pick the party up, bras and panties on the chandelier. Brown and clear, don't mix, but we mixing it. Pick the party up, your shit sucks, so we fixing it. Double fisting it, and I'm twisting it. Party pooper, why you over there trying to throw that hissy fit? She about to throw that ass, man, you missing it. Pick the party up, right now, you ain't listening. We getting loose. I spiked the juice. We could not lose. Only winners in the crew. Only winners all we do. Pick the party fool. Yeah. And we gon' pick it up, cause that's all we do. Pick the party up. We gon' pick the party up. Party up. Shots down. We gon' pick the party up. Party up. Another round. We gon' pick the party up. Party up. Any party people pick the party up. Party up. Party up. We gon' pick the party up. Party up. Shots down. We gon' pick the party up. Party up. Another round. We gon' pick the party up. Party up. Any party people pick the party up. Party up. We come alive in the nighttime. They ain't got it like us. Nah, they ain't got it like us. If I'm there, it's the right time. That's the right place. Who said they got me like what? They ain't got me like, I'ma hold this shit down. I'ma hold this shit, girl. I'ma hold this shit down. I'ma hold this shit down. I'ma shut this shit, girl. So watch me come alive. So live, I've arrived. Give me 5, I'm on it 5, and I'm so hot, there's nothing but the vibe. I defy while you abide by guidelines. 100 rounds with the top in my sightlines. All grind, hard working when I write rhymes. Me and Buddha, yeah, we act like a hive mind. It's nighttime, they ain't got it like who? Super damn, yeah, I went and got it like you. Look, big homie told me they ain't gotta like you. They just gotta respect your hustle, got it like true, true. I'm at it like ooh, yeah, yeah, yeah. Blowing that la, 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 la. And listening to your blah, blah, blah. I'm about money and then time, yeah, yeah. In the nighttime, they ain't got it like us. Nah, they ain't got it like us. If I'm there, it's the right time. That's the right place. Who said they got me like what? They ain't got me like, I'ma hold this shit down. I'ma hold this shit, girl. I'ma hold this shit down. I'ma hold this shit down. I'ma shut this shit, girl. Visualize this movie magic in the making. We out of here, they faking. We can't pin it. We been winning, and this innings out the park. I like no doubt it's smart. We're about to start. We on a mission, man. Know the difference then. Buckle in it fast enough. Round the game, couple flips, nigga, cash and bucks. She and Mayo, notice that they're after us. Running through the streets, 2 agents chasing me. Free line so I can escape. Up the bakery, Paris baked in the bakery. It's Buddha on the mic, the pure land is where I take me. Far from reality, unlike this place is savory. Monster made the beat, spit flows another flavor free. Far from reality, unlike this place is slavery. Monster made the beat, spit flows another flavor free. Nighttime, they ain't got it like us. Nah, they ain't got it like us. If I'm there, it's the right time, that's the right place. Who said they got me like what? They ain't got me like, I'ma hold this shit down. I'ma hold this shit, girl. I'ma hold this shit down. I'ma hold this shit down. I'ma shut this shit, girl.
All right, and that's it, everybody. Welcome to The Jungle Live, presented by Roto Wild Fantasy Sports. I am Bolts Bolton, highly experienced player, over 1,900 wins, 24,000 in prizes on FanDuel alone. Let's go ahead and get into today's slate. We have a big day, a big day for everybody today. So let's take a look first at really what we have going on. So, as you can see, we got lots of games on our slate today. And we're going to take a good look at all the games very briefly so we can go forward and make our lineup. Now, let's take a look here. You got Milwaukee, Indy, Boston, Washington, New York, Cleveland, Detroit, Charlotte, Brooklyn, Philly, OKC, New Orleans, Portland, Memphis, Atlanta, Dallas, Miami, Utah, Minnesota, Sac, Toronto, Golden State. So as you can see, there are a lot of games on the slate today, so we really got to pick it up and we got to start building up a lineup. Now, unlike yesterday's slate, we had a lot of players that needed to pop. right? We needed Chris Paul. We needed players similar to that to pop off our lineup, right? Because DeRozan and other guys really let us down. The consistent guys. That's why I was telling you, watch out for consistent guys yesterday. Today is a little bit different. Today there's going to be a lot of fantasy points. I think the winner will have somewhere near 400. So, you're looking, you got to hit a high total here. Okay, so again, it's all about balance when it comes to these FanDuel lineups, especially we can take the auto scratch and expect the auto scratch for one of these guys. I've seen multiple winners doing that. I've seen a lot of center fade going on. I've seen a lot of stuff going on. All right, so again, let's get into the slate with some of the best games, okay, and some of the best players. All right, I think immediately a lot of people are going to turn to Russell Westbrook. Why wouldn't they turn to Russell Westbrook? Russell Westbrook, he's great. He's gonna kill it. He's gonna have a big day. All right. So, is he a great place to start? Now, that's a good question considering that his price is so high. So we're looking at some of these game totals: 217, 220, 213, 217. Some of these are pretty high, right? So by the time this later game comes off, like Golden State game, the tournament could be over. Someone could already be at 400 points. You could be sitting around while one of your players, twists an ankle or whatever happens. But we've all seen stuff like this before, right? So a couple things bounce out to me, pop off right away. We know Jimmy Butler is out, right? That's what I've last seen. Is Jimmy Butler is officially out today. Let's double check this. Let's double check Jimmy Butler's status. Groin. He is out, along with Muscala. All right, so we got two guys out. So they're still favored at 84%, which I think is really high. Okay, you got Philly, Brooklyn. It's going to be an up and down kind of game. Looks like there's going to be a lot of B squad players in there. This is a good fantasy game to target. I don't mind targeting this game. I think it's part of the early group. It's a green game. Both squads over 320 projected points. Nice total here. Not the highest, right? Because we got Boston here, but you've seen Boston lately. Recently, they're unpredictable. So let's go ahead and start looking at this game, right, as one of the games we want to target early. All right, because all four of these are green games, and all four, like I said, the contest could be over by halfway getting into this slate. There are going to be major fantasy points scored. So whenever I see a slate like that, sometimes I like to sort it by game start, right? So you're looking at some of these players by salary. Early game, you got Enes Kanter, John Wall, Brad Beal, Drummond, Griffin, Antetokounmpo, Oladipo. All these players start right at 4. Right, so by an hour later, when the rest of these games start, all these guys will have already played. So we really got to take a good look at some of these guys, okay? Especially the games with the high total. So what are the games with the high total? That is a very, very good question there. Well, let me see what I can do here. All right, sorry about that, guys. Here we go. Okay, so looking at these totals here. I like these teams with the 345, but I told you I don't like Boston. I really don't like Boston at all doing anything right now. They're just, I don't know. I'm not sure what's going on, but this game, fading it could be a huge mistake. All right, so let's start talking about some of this stuff. Let's get back here. You got these guys that are underpaced now. Boston playing up. They're going to be playing up. Plus, they have none of these guys. This is just really just a scrap heap of just crazy looking Boston guys. I don't know. I'm not sure if I want any part of this Boston business. You know, especially with so many games on the slate. You know, we can definitely find us a better game. All right. So first, let's start with the players at 4 that we can afford. Right. So they're all going to be around 6K. So who do we got? Larry Nance Jr. We got Rozier, Markeith, Marcus Morris, Reggie, Sabonis. Pretty nice options there. Uh, I saw a few in there that interest me. You know, they start right there at the beginning. We'll have to see how this goes. This is going to be real interesting. All right, so Trae Young. You got Trae Young here. He looks bad. Looks real bad to me. But Jeremy Lin's out. Whenever Lin's out, he seems to play up in minutes. He's in this game. It doesn't look great to me. Okay. Now, some of these blue games, they look interesting. Which of these blue games is the earliest game? OKC New Orleans. That's at 5. 5 p.m. there. OKC New Orleans. To get to 665. Atlanta Dallas. And we got a big favorite in the Atlanta Dallas game, which is Dallas. Okay. Okay, that's interesting info. Dallas. Who's Dallas playing? Well, one character we know Dallas is playing is this guy, Jalen Brunson. Some other characters I've seen Dallas running out there, Dwight Powell. Could Dirk come back? Is he finally due? Is he due to come back? Let's see. It could be tonight. Well, I do like the Dallas team there. The Dallas team seems awfully strong to me in that spot. I like all those players. I really kind of do. All right. Now, let's talk about the teams that give up tons of fantasy points. All right. Atlanta. Atlanta gives up just an absurd amount of fantasy points. So when you're looking at Atlanta, it's like, yeah, they give up a ton of fantasy points. And then what about New Orleans? New Orleans also gives up a ton of fantasy points. Both these start at 5. Could these be the anchor games? Could we play an anchor player here to anchor the rest of our lineup as we spread it across the early? I kind of like that idea. I really do. You know, again, we got to get to 400. So getting to 400 is never easy, right? It's gonna be really tough. It's gonna be really tough today, but we can do it. It's 44 points a player. All right, so we just gotta spend wisely. We gotta spend wisely on the players that we want to hit. Right. So we're definitely looking for some up pace matchups. Boston is an up pace matchup. Let's go back to our spreadsheet here. They will be up pace. Dallas, Atlanta, Minnesota, Sac. Detroit will be up pace to Cha. I could see Brooklyn getting blown out by Philly somehow. Milwaukee, Indy will be up pace to Milwaukee, and we got Boston up pace to Washington. New York and Cleveland, those are both really slow teams. So I'm not sure you want any of that, and you don't want any of this. So pretty interesting stuff here, you know. This is really my first glimpse. I'm sorry, at what was going on as well today. You know, I'm taking a good glimpse at it. And while I kind of ponder it, let's take a look at some of the options on today's slate. All right. So you had a lot of fantasy options, a lot of choices on where you're going to spend some money. Here, I think these are some good places to spend a few bucks, right? So this is what we call big game hunting. So if I was big game hunting, I would be targeting again this $5 single entry. All right, it's not for the largest amount of prizes, but the thing about it is we got only 3,333 people to beat. Now, we had an alert come through here about John Wall. So it looks like John Wall is playing tonight, and Otto Porter is a game time decision. Game time decisions this week, they haven't gone well. I would avoid all game time decisions. Just scratch them. It's crazy. And so you got Furkan Korkmaz starting in front of Jimmy Butler. So Jimmy Butler's definitely out as well. All right, guys. So now let's go ahead and get started here with designing what it is we're gonna do. You know, this is not an easy way, not an easy lineup to build, nor is it something that you can just spit right out, right? So you guys are gonna have to bear with me, right? As I work on this in real time with you guys here live to come up with a winning lineup. Again, I'm Bolts Bolton, highly experienced player on FanDuel, 24,000 in prizes. Here we go. We're gonna get started. Now, one thing I like to consider is the express slates. All right, how many of us have seen our mains struggle to get points when our express just goes flying right past them immediately as the game starts? I've had that happen to me many a times. So just thinking about that, you know, we look at this. This is one of the express slates. We go back to our sheet. We're avoiding this game, really. I mean, the total's high, but I've got them as a red total here. So be careful with these teams here. I fear that, you know, who knows? Who really knows? Yeah, I'm curious here. What did these guys score in these other games? 211, 211, 192. Pretty interesting, huh? So 211. See, I really don't like this game. I'm telling you guys, I'm thinking just avoid that game, right? So if you're gonna avoid that game, that means that this game is going huge. And when I mean huge, this 234 total, which is our best total, right? The best total that we see out here is this 234, and it's shining, and it's going to be 50-50 game, 2 point spread. We got to pay attention to this game. This is a big one. We got fantasy super studs, right? Like if we were all going to have a pickup game and you got to make a fantasy pickup game, Anthony Davis, Russell Westbrook, they're standing over there, right? Those are the guys that you want to take. All right, so there you go, right? Imagine this: these two guys are starting here on this lineup. The scary thing is that's a lot of your money, but the number they would have to score to reach that amount of money that you just spent on them, it's absurd, right? So, but let's just go with it for now because we're looking for players from this game. All right, so we're just gonna literally sort this by fantasy points per game and spend, and we're gonna overspend. All right, so we overspent by 11,600. 600. Mm-hmm. All right, so we're looking at about 5,500 a player. And like I said, if you spent all the money on these guys, well, that's this would be the dream lineup, the most expensive lineup or whatever, but we can't do it, right? So immediately, let's just take these big guys off the lineup, right? I told you avoid all game time decisions, so we're left with something like this: Frazier, Drew Holiday, Schroeder, Paul George, Jeremy Grant, and Julius Randle. All right, it's not bad, right? Plus, we have all the main characters that we can fill in instead of these players in this game. Okay, so I do like a lot of these players: 52, 54, 58. We can afford all three of those guys, and then if we're going to pay up, we're not paying out of the world for some of these other guys that definitely can hit us our 44 points that we need to get, right? So yeah, it's looking okay right now. Um, yeah, I like where this is going here. Okay, now I'm looking for anyone priced between 55 and 6,100. I think this is kind of the target area that I want to look for guys in. All right, so keep in mind the players that we have here: Frazier, Drew Holiday, Shrew, PG, JG, and JR. All right, so let's back out of here. There's another slate here, and when we're looking at this slate, it's a 4-game slate. It's got with the big games of the night, right? But I also warned you about this game, the Atlanta-Dallas game. It's one of the big games too. So when you look at this game, this is the slate that is going to score all the points. It's obvious to me that this is 3 of the 4 games are huge totals, and there's going to be a lot of fantasy points in this game, in this contest. Right off the bat, you like some of these guys right out of this game. They are literally, most of them, plug and play kind of guys, right? And I'm telling you, they also mix in well with the other group of guys that we just looked at. All right, so you got Trae Young, you got Doncic, Bays, Harrison Barnes, Bembry, John Collins, and DeAndre Jordan. All right, looking good. let's go back to what we have coming up. Now, when I build these lineups, one of the things that I like to do is I like to think of the overall game philosophy. I mean, that's not uncommon. A lot of people are thinking, how is this contest going to play out? What games are blowouts, so on and so forth. So I'm not saying anything too tremendous there, but what I am saying is, with this slate specifically, I believe by the time we get to 8:30, someone is going to be up there near 400 points already. Okay, so that's the goal here, is to get some of the early guys too that are going to be going off for us. All right, so here we go. Let's clear this thing out. Now, we had some pretty big players here. We have Paul George. There is Paul George, right? So Paul George. And the other guys that we had there, we had Harrison Barnes and we had Bembry. If you look, Bembry and Barnes are priced exactly the same price, right? Pretty strange that they would be priced, exactly the same price. They're in the same game against each other. So, as we know, Dallas is a huge, huge favorite in this game. What does that mean for Bembry? It's interesting. It's definitely interesting. We can save money on both of them. So there's Barnes, there's Bembry. Let's take a look here. Per game. Kind of is right below 30, right? Bembry's kind of starting to really get on a roll. When this kind of thing happens, you can use one of these Fantasy Pros, these style websites, Starter Sit. Fantasy SP. Let's say Bembry. Harrison Barnes. See, I think that's going to be pretty common across all the websites right now. They're all going to take Barnes over Bembry. I think that we should take Barnes over Bembry too, considering that they're big favorites today. All right. So, no overthinking it there. The price the same for a reason. I suspect it's because Barnes is going to have a much, much bigger night. So you got Barnes, right? So you got Barnes. Now, some of the other players that we like back from our other lineup, Drew Holiday and Schroeder. There's Schroeder. Sorry, guys. There he goes. All right, so we got Schroeder there. And let's see, you got Bazemore. What happened with Drew Holiday last game? He got kidnapped. Something happened to that man. He just was not himself, and it was against Boston. It was really odd. OKC is very solid defensively, similar to Boston. Makes me want to look twice at Drew Holiday before I just slap him on there. And then the other player he seems to have been on fire is Bays. Bays just, you know, he looks just ridiculous right now. He's getting a lot of minutes. That game, like I said, is going to have tons of points. I like the idea of Bays here. I like his price, right? Because we're not trying to spend outside of our price range, which, you know, I'm going to remind you guys is 55 to 61. So we gotta get guys in that area, right? So we got Harrison Barnes, we got Schroeder. Now Bays we're squeezing in there, but is Bays more valuable than a Dwayne Wade, than a Buddy Hield? Look at Buddy Hield, he's looking nice. Then a Andrew Wiggins. Wiggins in that huge total game. You know, we really like the total of this sack game. So Bays a couple hundred more than these guys is questionable. It is. So down at the bottom of our price range, 5,500, there's some other players. Yes, I like these guys. I like all of them. Brogdon, Wesley Matthews. You know, Wesley Matthews looks like he's turning back into his old self. JJ Redick. JJ Redick, not a bad start at any time. You know, tonight's game where they're undermanned, no Jimmy Butler. Is JJ going to get extra shots? Plus, he just scores the heck out of the ball. You know, like he just really scores the ball well. And then you got Jaylen Brown here, right? Jaylen Brown in that funny Celtics game that we keep saying is so funny and odd, right? It's such an odd little game, and it's right in the beginning. You know, is that Jaylen Brown time? You know, I could see major points from Jaylen Brown or Marcus Smart, either one of those guys in that spot. You got guys down here a little cheaper. Danny Green, he's been hot. Last night he was pretty hot on the Clippers. You know, he just made a few buckets that were just you know, he's got that high arcing shot. It just looks so nasty when it goes in. And then you got Austin Rivers down here. He's been filling in here and there, you know, playing lots of minutes. You know, me, I'm not too big on any of those too much cheaper guys. I think the cheapest I would go is at the bottom of at the floor of our area here, you know. And when you're looking at this, a couple of these are pretty interesting, but only one of them is in blue, and that's Wesley Matthews. Wesley Matthews, right? Bazemore, he's priced higher. JJ Redick, Jaylen Brown. Jaylen Brown's an interesting play. I think we're going to have to get a mix going with some Jaylen Brown in there because, you know, he passes the eye test to me. Jaylen Brown is a baller. He just, you know, he loves to play ball and he's just a baller. Like, certain guys, they're natural scorers and they're just ballers. And Jaylen Brown, nasty. You know, once he starts getting it going, nasty. You know, I like me some Jaylen Brown for now, right here in that spot, right? Okay, so we got some of our players, you know, we got some of these guys, but is it Jaylen Brown? That's a good question because the other player we really like is Wesley Matthews, but he hasn't topped 30 game in a while. You know, he's right around 30. Jaylen Brown seems like he's right around there too. He really is. Now, of these teams, Philly is an 84% favorite. So does that mean JJ? You know, maybe that's Redick. Maybe it should be Redick. A lot of guys we like here. So maybe it's time we check on the chat. Is anybody chatting with us? You know, let's take a peek in at the chats and see what we see. I'm gonna leave you guys here on my spreadsheet, and I'm just gonna take a look and see what we can find here. not much going on. So let's just go back to the spreadsheet for a second, right? So again, we're looking at Philly there, right? Philly, Boston, they're not favorited. Wesley Matthews, Dallas, big favorite, right? So I think it comes down to Wesley Matthews or J.J. Redick. So for now, let's not include Jaylen Brown in this, right? And Wesley Matthews or J.J. Redick, it's an interesting debate, I think. J.J. Redick, right? I mean, let's see again. What does the starting sit say? Let's do fantasy pros and let's see. Do they like J.J. Redick or do they like Wesley Matthews? See, they definitely like Wesley Matthews. Now, what if we throw in Jaylen Brown? Jaylen Brown. See, I told you guys. He's so sneaky. He's so talented. That Boston game is weird. It's a weird one. You know, he might get a lot of run. Let's go Jaylen Brown for now. All right. I keep flip flopping. I keep second guessing it, but we're gonna go Jaylen Brown right there. All right. For now, but I do like Wesley Matthews. He's the other player that I really like right there. All right. So for this stack, actually, let's go Wesley Matthews because look, we got some Dallas players going in here, and now you got Trae Young, we got Frazier, Trae Young, Drew Holiday, Schroeder, Paul George, Jeremy Grant, Julius Randle. Oh, I love Julius Randle. Let's go ahead and throw him on there. So now you got Julius Randle in there, and we're looking pretty good. We're looking pretty good. Some of these guys are out of our price range. Some of these guys are in our price range. But we're still looking okay. We just got to find some other guys that are still in our price range. One of these guys is right at the floor of our price range, and he's in our game. That is going to be Jeremy Grant. Jeremy Grant's in the game that we like. So is Marcus Morris. You see that? Marcus Morris. And so is Markieff Morris. So the brothers are going to play each other today. It's going to be the battle of the Morrises. All right, which I seem to remember they like that. They like to go off against each other. You know, so maybe we take them both against each other. You know, they both start right there at 7. Sneaky. Sneaky. And if we do this, it makes me want to go back to Jaylen Brown. Now, we never ran that for Schroeder. Maybe we should have run it for Schroeder. Let's go back and run it one time for Schroeder. Okay, and Schroeder's right there along with Jaylen Brown. All right, so let's go back to our fantasy lineup. Yeah, Schroeder, Jaylen Brown, Wesley Matthews, who we like, really all of these guys. OKC New Orleans. Let's just leave this blank for now. Let's go back, and now we're looking for some guys in our range. 65, 66, 66. Jeff Teague. Jeff Teague at the top of our price range. Is he worth the top of our prices? No, he's not. He's Jeff Teague. Come on, be serious. You're gonna lose yourself some money doing ridiculous stuff like Jeff Teague. But I say that, and then he goes off, and then everyone dogs me here and trolls me on the internet. But that's all good. It's all good. We love you guys anyway. Let's look at some of these guys. I've got Trey Young. Yeah, he's one of the guys that I'm really looking at tonight. I think he'll throw up 30. But I need more points and more points. I need a little bit more points than that, which looks like Spencer Dinwiddie. You know, Dinwiddie. I love him. I love Dinwiddie. I play him all the time. Sure, Philly's big favorite tonight, but the total looks nice. Someone's going to be scoring on that side of the ball. And when you run Dinwiddie next to some of these other guys we've been looking at, he's like not in the same class. So it makes you think, maybe it's not Dinwiddie. So who else you got there? Derrick Rose. What do they think about Derrick Rose? Not the best either. Derrick Rose not looking like he could do it for you. Is it someone like RJ? When you pull up Reggie, I mean, he'll get us to 30, but how do we get to 40? That's the question. How do we get to 40? Do we have to come up here to someone like Kyrie, who's just fallen off a cliff? I'm not sure Kyrie's the answer. Eric Bledsoe, he can throw up a 40. You know, he does it occasionally. He just did it recently. And then you got Kyle Lowry. He had a monster last night. Looked like Kyle Lowry's getting his shooting stroke probably back a little bit. You got De'Aaron Fox there. You know, De'Aaron Fox, he's a beast. And Kemba. See, Kemba, look at that chart. That's the kind of stuff you want to be involved in. His floor is a 40, you know. We gotta pay up. We gotta pay up for Kemba. He looks a little bit like our Paul George. Right? So Kemba, Paul George, they look a little similar to me. Kemba looks like a very valuable player on this slate. I think he's an underrated player on this slate. Detroit, you know, who knows what's going to happen with Detroit? You know, we got some of those Detroit guards that way down here. They can score. Where's that guy? You got Kennard. He's one of them. The other one's Galloway. Yeah, I'm at 35 today. I know we're not really looking for a 35 player, I don't think. But maybe we should be. Maybe we should be looking for a 35 player to plug into one of these spots. That way we can pay up and get Kemba. Because I really do like Kemba. Kemba's here in this spot here. You got someone like Jeremy Lamb there. Jeremy Lamb, I think, can also get us up near the 40s. You know, I think we're a little under where we need to be with some of these guys. But paying up with other guys, you know, it's looking okay. It's looking all right now. Let's see what else we got here. We got John Collins, Frazier. What's Frazier looking like? Yeah, Frazier listed at 52. He's kind of bouncing up and down in that nice range. I actually really like Frazier in this spot. I really do. But the defense, it's that OKC defense on the guards. That's what makes people want to back off of it, I'm sure. And then you got Colin Sexton, JJ Barea, some other good looking guys in this area. No one to really drool over, though. Trae Young. I really feel like this is the guy. You get Fox and Kemba up at the top. Makes me feel like we got nothing to worry about. Like, point guard is covered. All right? And we're pretty close to a $3,500 player right here. So, looking at Julius Randle, he looks great. We're not touching Julius Randle. I think maybe it's Harrison Barnes we touch. We take Harrison Barnes and we go down to somebody else. Someone like Wilson Chandler. I definitely think there's some points tonight for Wilson Chandler. He's been kind of on my mind, so I'm going to put him there. And then I've got the 3,600 here. You know, these players at 3,600, I'm not in love. Right? I'm really not. Also, Kemba is here. He's here. Fox is here. Fox, Trae Young. And that's when it comes back to this guy, this interesting player. His name is Jalen Brunson, because we get 69. And who do we always love? We always love some McCollum, and we always love Klay Thompson. You know, both of them have a high floor and a very high ceiling because of the way they shoot the rock. You know, to me it looks like it's Klay. I think this should probably be Klay because we're not involved in that other game. So this is where we're at now. It looks solid, right? This is going to be one of our lines. And today, Bolts Bolton, I'm only going to be spending one line here with you guys. So you got these other players all in here, and some of them look pretty good. Some of them look okay. But like I told you, there's something going on with my gut. My gut is telling me to play him, to play Wilson Chandler. You know, they're big favorites. Jimmy Butler out. I think there's shots to go around. Muscala out. Chandler's gonna get serious minutes. I think he's gonna really run them. And you're just kind of doing a last check here to see, if there's wiggle room on some of these guys, because anytime there's wiggle room, you could wiggle into a different player that could change everything for you. It really could change everything for you. And there where we had Schroeder, Schroeder looks pretty good. But he does scare me a little bit. He does scare me just a bit. And it makes me think about some of these other players. Bazemore, his minutes have been crazy. But I'm looking for a 40. I want a 40. I'm not sure there's a 40 in here anywhere. I think maybe Jaylen Brown gets us close with a 30. He gets us close with a 30. Schroeder gets us close over 30. But other than those guys, Klay Thompson's the first guy that jumps out to me that he can go for 40. And someone else like Brad Beal. Brad Beal for sure. He's gonna kill it. He's gonna get you up to where you need to get. So comes back to what we want to do. Do we want Schroeder here? There's a lot of players that were very similar to Schroeder. You got Klay Thompson. I don't want to wait for Klay Thompson. I don't want to wait all night for Klay Thompson. That's the one thing that bothers me about Klay. You got someone like Chris Middleton right here below Klay, averaging about the same amount of points. You know, he's on an okay stretch. He's not on a hot stretch by any means. It's not a good game, really. I guess Bazemore would be the first guy at 8:30, you know, that you really start considering. Like, is he going to go for 40? But is he? He's not. He's really not. And so you got Wiggins, Schroeder again. You're back here in the Schroederville. So I do like some Brad Beal right here, right away. Right? I do like that. And then I think we're getting close to this Marcus Smart, Jaylen Brown area again. We're down here with Temple, Selden. You know, I'm not sure either of these guys are worth the money that you're gonna spend on them. All right, so Austin Rivers is 100 away. Carmans is starting. Danny Green was hot last night. Alan Crabb in the big underdog spot. Alan Crabb in the big underdog spot could be a good one. Because you're getting close 46, 5, 55, 46, or 55, right? So I'd rather go with the 46 guy. You got Damian Dotson. I just feel like, yeah, there's a lot of ways to sneak around right in this area. You know, maybe we need to go a little cheaper than Wilson Chandler and get the players that we really like, you know, because I do like what we've got going on here so far. The question is, who are we going to put here? You know, we're 100 away from what we want, and I'm not sure we want to take off either Morris brother. What do they look like next to each other? Yeah, Marcus Morris and Markieff Morris. All right, so these two next to each other, it looks like they got Markieff is a slightly better player, but Marcus has been so hot. Like, he's just been so hot. And what I'm trying to get 100 off of a deal. So I got Jermichael Green. He's not who I want, but I do like Jeremy Grant. He's in the game that I like. And now I've got 43. Bullock, Damian Dotson, not good enough, right? So since it's not good enough, let's take another look at Markieff, but I think we should go back over to Markieff. Markieff, he looks all right. He really does look all right to me. But there's another sneaky player right here. Can Marvin Williams come in and do something for us? Get us some points. Sure he could. He sure could. But before we do that, let's go back to planting our player that we liked. And let's go 100 off of Wilson Chandler and let's see who we got instead of Wilson Chandler, right? So you got Bielitsa, Joe Harris. Okay, I like Joe Harris. He's in this underdog game. His points really have not been there for me. I can't do it because of the points. The points are just too low. You had Derek Jones blow up in that Laker game where they play no defense. But his rebounds, wow, his rebounds are really strong. He's really rebounding the ball. It makes me think, could I risk the 100 Derek Jones for Wilson Chandler? I mean, Wilson Chandler, I like him because of the spot he's in, but when you start saying words like that, those are dangerous words. Like, I like him because he's in, come on. Like, I'm pushing it too far, right? Where it's like Derek Jones or someone else cheaper could easily pull through with the points we need, right? We got Bridges here. Whatever happened to Michael Kidd Gilchrist? Where's he at? He's there at 3,900. Well, let's see, he's there at 3,900. That saves us some cash. I mean, he seems pretty capable, but let's see if you do Jay Crowder there. No, not killing Jay Crowder there. Bogdanovich has been hot shooting the rock. He's been really hot shooting the rock. I like him. I like him there. I like him in that spot. Milwaukee, but they got like length like Antetokounmpo, things like that going on. What's Kelly Oubre doing here at 5,500? He has been something else, playing out of his mind, it looks like. Could Kelly Oubre be a good choice here? Well, those guys are more expensive than the guy I was looking at. You got Finney Smith. I saw him hit a big three the other day. He hit a big three. And, he's getting minutes. So, what are we gonna do here? This is a good one. We're in a good little mix here of what we're trying to decide we want to do. And Derek Jones is really standing out to me here. We saved the 100, but that 100 that we saved only gets us Austin Rivers. Non-show Kobe. So one of the guys here that we had was Finney Smith. One of the guys was Kidd Gilchrist. Let's say if this is Kidd Gilchrist, it gets us to 47. 47 gets us Jordan Clarkson. And Jordan Clarkson, he's a pretty good option, but not really what I'm looking for. So if I take Markieff and we take Markieff back down to Jeremy Grant, because as we all know, New Orleans doesn't play any defense at all. Zero. They play zero defense. And that gets us up to Marcus Smart. Marcus Smart was so high owned the other day. Everybody owned him. Everybody swore he was going to have a big day, and he really didn't. So here, again, we're getting pretty close. Looking at Kidd Gilchrist at a second glance at Kidd Gilchrist, I don't really want Kidd Gilchrist. And then it makes me question, do I want Kemba or do I want Brad Beal? And there's your answer. You see that? So that's why right now I have both. Okay. So I'm getting closer and closer to what I want to play. Now I told you, Marcus Morris, he has been hot, just really hot. Now, last game he had 31 points, and tonight he plays his brother. Let's take him off for a second because I don't know. There's something about him. He's expensive in that spot, I think. Got some other guys here that I think could do it also. What about Ilyasova? I definitely like Ilyasova, maybe, here in one of these spots. Not sure yet. Just not sure what I want to do about the Morris brothers. Well, I'm working on this, guys. I'm trying to figure this out.
This year for the holidays, I need a new phone. What do you use your phone for mostly? Okay. Work, play. Oh, you mean everything.
And we're just running this. It's interesting. I'm not sure where to go here. No, not really sure where I want to go here. We got Atlanta, Dallas, Wesley Matthews. That was one of the guys. Wesley Matthews, Jaylen Brown. That's right in this area. Let's just keep pushing for that. We're getting so close. We're getting so close to getting those guys on here. And now you got Vonleh. We've seen Vonleh hit huge numbers. I've seen him hit some big, big numbers. He's in that down pace game against Cleveland. I'm not sure that's where we want to be. You got some bargain bin guys down there. What do we think about Brad Beal or Klay Thompson? They really do like Brad Beal. Now, Larry Nance. They announced Tristan Thompson is out. So what's Larry Nance going to do? He's going to get some extra run. He's already running. He's already doing okay. Don't like that game. Marvin Bagley. Do we like Mr. Marvin Bagley? Not really. And you got Serge Ibaka right there, right? So you got Serge. This is an interesting spot here. It's a pretty tough spot to figure out. Maybe we should not think about it so much and pay up to someone like John Collins, because I feel like Collins is so consistent and he's going to hit one of these numbers that we need to hit. Like, we have to hit a 40, right? So we got to get Collins here. I feel like that's who we really need. Now we're 2,800 away. We're 2,800 away now. We got some extra cash here that we, don't really need. Like, we don't really need Grant here. We can pay down, or 2,800. So that puts us back to Schroeder. So I'm liking this. I think we're really getting close. So this is what we're going to do. We're going to go back to Beal. I want to take one more look at who he would be down here. He would be Dinwiddie, Derrick Rose, Reggie Jackson. So who's that? Maybe that's Dinwiddie. Mm-hmm. Scary Terry, he's been really picking it up. He's been really picking it up. So maybe it's Scary Terry here. Yeah, Scary Terry, Colin Sexton. We're right here. We're right at the decision point now. It's time to really choose some of these players that we've been discussing and looking at. All right. So I think that's where we're going to end the podcast today, you guys. I wish you guys luck. I brought you pretty close to where you need to be. You know what I'm looking at and which players I'm considering removing and putting on and back and so forth. Now, a couple of these guys, I think they're going to have sneaky games. They are going to have some really sneaky games. So, just keep your eye out for those sneaky players and you can land on them. You can really just nail them and get yourself tons of fantasy points there. So if you remember, this one's Kemba. And we're just so close, you guys. We gotta really sort this one out here. Let's see. So we had Jalen Brunson, and then perhaps the other player is one of these guys: Tony Parker, T.J. McConnell. One of these guys may be able to steal you some points. But that's what we're gonna do. We're gonna call it for today. I'm leaving you with this. Basically, you can either plug in, try to get one of these guys and move some of this around. It's going to be up to you. All right. But I'm going to check you guys on the next one. I really appreciate you guys tuning in. Again, here is the lineup that I've got for you guys. We got Jalen Brunson, Brad Beal, Jaylen Brown, Paul George, Michael Kidd-Gilchrist, Jeremy Grant, Jeremiah Grant, John Collins, and Julius Randle. Okay, so that's what I'm looking to go with today. All right, I'm going to move some things around and I'm going to play some variation, but that's mostly going to be what is going to get you guys some money. So go ahead and run that. Keep looking for the giveaway. Right, we're going to be launching the giveaway for Roto Wild membership soon. And I'm going to catch you guys on the next one. I'm Bolts Bolton. Good luck today on the tournament.